Welcome to Saunders Sisterhood. I'm Carrie, and this is a YouTube channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. This is a requested video, and this video is about the benefits of being single and childless, not by choice. Yes, there are positives to living a life that you didn't plan. Sometimes the universe throws us curveballs, and while we got to figure out how to adapt and pivot and work through the really hard parts of that, there's also some good stuff that can come along with that as well. Before we get too far into it, I really want to emphasize, I know that when I was going through the real depths of the grief, I would not have been interested in knowing about the good stuff because I just wasn't ready to hear it. It would have felt invalidating to me and as if this person did not understand anything I was going through. And what I want to say is that is not the spirit in which I am doing this video. What I know is that there are so many messages that were sent related to how difficult and unfulfilling and meaningless life can be if you are not someone's spouse or parent. And we get stuck in that sometimes because we get a ton of messages that say that, but very few that say the opposite. So I'm coming at this from a place of when you're ready. This could be a video that you come back to, or you can continue to watch now, knowing that it's coming from a really good place. And when you're ready, these things might be ready for you to just pull out of your brain and start taking some of those steps toward the life that you can live. I've been focusing a lot on coping and grief during the holiday season, especially. And my goal for this channel is to have more of a balanced approach around what life can look like for somebody who is single and childless, not by choice, along with tips for people who are really in the thick of it right now. As part of the reason why I started the vlogs, not because I have this huge interesting life that I think everybody would love to see, but because I want it represented somebody who isn't sharing their birth story or their baby story or, you know, how to cook meals for a family of 5, whatever, right? Instead, I'm hanging out with my dog, I'm exercising, I'm working, I'm doing those things that you're doing as well. Because I'm really interested in having a balanced channel, I'm really excited to make this video about the benefits or positives of being single and childless, not by choice. When you're ready, you can think about this as, what can my future look like? Not everything is great about being single and childless, not by choice, but not everything is great about being a spouse or a parent. So, without further ado, here are the 5 things that are benefits of being single and childless, not by choice. All right, number 1, it's this opportunity to rethink your future with a different mindset. Many of us grow up with this expectation of what our life is going to look like. And this is an opportunity, you know, when a bomb gets dropped at your feet, you got to put it back together. And it's a way to rethink about what you want your life to look like. You can define your own future versus just following this path that everyone is expected to go down like a conveyor belt. Maybe you want to snowbird somewhere. Maybe you want to retire earlier. Maybe you want to travel and stay longer. Maybe you want to go places and avoid the crowded times. You have a little flexibility in what you want your future to look like. You may be able to be more spontaneous. Maybe you see a really good deal on something like travel or a plane ticket or a cruise ticket, whatever. And you may be able to execute on that. So you get a little more spontaneity. It doesn't mean you're super flexible. It doesn't mean you don't have responsibilities that you don't have to work around. But having a little bit of spontaneity can sometimes be a good thing. This is one that I think is really valuable when you're able to lock into this. You can spend some time getting to know who you really are. You can try a lot of different things without having to wait until you get to be higher up on the priority list. You don't have to wait until kids are out of the house. You can try those new things now. And who you think you are may not be who you really want to be. Not to get a little too like woo-woo-y here, but a lot of us just kind of walk through life without paying attention to those things. You have a little extended time to really think about that. It's pretty powerful. You might have more disposable income. Now, you might not have more disposable income, particularly if you're single. Being single is expensive. They call it the singles tax. You're not splitting bills, and oftentimes you need the same amount of something. Rent, for example, a mortgage, a car. I guess oftentimes you need 2 cars if you're with a partner, but you're not always getting less of something just because you're single. So while you may have more disposable income, I also recognize that this is less related to being single, but more related to what your income is. But maybe when you do go on these things, you can go to a nicer hotel, you can eat at a nicer restaurant. You know, Ramit Sethi talks a lot about what is your rich life. And he's not even really talking financially. He's talking about what are the things that you prioritize. Spend on those and then cut mercilessly on the things that don't matter as much to you. It's an interesting concept and one that I try and use as I'm filtering financial decisions. But I also know I'm not saving for a kid's college. I'm not having to pay daycare, for crying out loud. And so one of the things that I try and intentionally do around that is use some of that money doing some things that my lifestyle allows me to do. One of the other benefits of being single and childless, not by choice, is that you've gone through something that not everybody goes through. We all go through hard things, but we live in this culture where if you want something, just don't give up and it'll eventually be yours. And that's not going to be the case for the children aspect of my life. Like I'm not going to have children, and I wanted it really bad. I did a lot of things to try and extend and preserve the idea that I would have children. And one of the things that I do know, because I went through that I really feel is a strength in terms of my life and resiliency, is that I've been through something really hard and I know I'll get through it. I also feel like it gives me more empathy and compassion for others, knowing that life can be really unfair sometimes through no fault of your own. Now, it doesn't mean I didn't make decisions kind of leading up to this, but ultimately, I never made a decision that I thought would create a scenario in which I would never have kids. You can do everything right and play by all the rules, and sometimes things don't work out. Again, this creates resilience and compassion, and can really create a mindset where you pause to think before you unload all of your judgments on somebody. This might make you a really good listener and a really healthy support person for other people in your life when they go through something hard and unexpected. It can also maybe even help you recognize who feeds into your life and who takes from your life, and help you make decisions related to who you choose to have supports a little more timely. These qualities are qualities that we need more of. So let me know what benefits I missed in the comments below. And don't forget, another benefit, if you're single and childless, not by choice, is that you get to be a part of our book club where we read a book together and then I go on a YouTube live and we discuss it. Our first one is February 15th, 2025 at noon Eastern time. So if you would like to join that, I'll put the video explaining that in the cards, or whatever they call it on YouTube. I don't know, it's up above. And this is the book we're reading, No One Tells You This by Glynis McNichol. It's one of my favorite books. Thanks for watching the video and subscribe to Sundra Sisterhood.